Welcome to GabTalks, where we provide tools, tips, and techniques to help your life and business be easier, better, and faster. Hello, everybody. I am Gabriella, and welcome to our next episode of GabTalks Success Tips from Experts. Today, I am delighted to bring to you today's expert, Laurie Seymour. Hey, Laurie, how are you today?
I am great, Gab. I'm so excited to be with you.
Thank you so much. I absolutely loved getting to know you, and I am absolutely excited to share you with our audience today. So my first question, Laurie, is will you please share with our audience what it is that makes you the expert that you are?
I will indeed. I have been calling myself for some time now an innovation alchemist. And essentially what that means is I help people to make their big ideas real in the most fluid, evolutionary way possible.
That's awesome. So that's a really interesting area of expertise, and it absolutely fascinates me. And I am super excited that you and I are going to get the opportunity to work together. Will you please share with our audience your backstory that basically got you to being here where you are today?
Great. Yes, I would be happy to, because what I realize is that I am the kind of bridge between the esoteric, if you will, and the pragmatic.
Yeah.
And in other words, my origin, my really early origin story was I was a psychotherapist for many years. And so I have that training and experience. I've done a lot of research in creative intelligence, in consciousness, in energy, and in the quantum field.
Wow.
So bringing all of that together, and then I spent 12 years as a solutions engineer. So you might figure, well, how did she get from here to here to here? And bringing all of that to bear on how do people use that inspiration of their own inner guidance system? And that was part of my origin story, is really being introduced to that, introduced to the fact that it's not just me, that it's me, and I have this whole bigger picture, this whole, how can I call it? We could call it presence. We could call it energies. We could call it higher self. You know, it goes by so many different names. We could call it God. You know, it doesn't matter what you call it. It might matter to you, and that's important. But in the bigger picture, it's that relationship of self with self. And when that got opened up in me, that changed everything for me in my life. And it has moved me to go deeper with everything, to go deeper than I thought that I was going in my whole psychology career. And in all of the training and expertise that I did with that, there was still something that I felt was missing. And it was missing until I started having these experiences with energy, really, of this whole other aspect of myself.
That is so incredible. That's amazing. I totally resonate with that.
Do you? Oh.
I do. I totally do. Yeah. I think that's
probably why we're talking.
Yes. I had my own kind of switching point back in 2016. I don't think I'm near as far along as you are, but
mine was in 1987. And I don't usually admit that, but that's true.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I had a experience in 2016, 2017 that was like a light switch for me. Yeah. So
you can't go backwards, can you?
No, you can't. You know, and that's kind of why we're here today, is we want our audience to be able to get themselves that much closer to success with tips and techniques, and that much quicker, or with tools that they could implement into their life. Hello, hello, awesome listener. Thank you so much for joining us today at GabTalks Success Tips from Experts. We're going to take a short break and take a moment to thank our sponsors. It is because of their generous support that we are able to bring to you all of these amazing experts where we're able to interview them and get their best success tips for you. So please take a listen to what our sponsors have to say.
This is Tony Stark Polici, copywriter, marketing consultant, and author. And I have a question for you. If you could take $20 and turn it into 1,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 or 100,000, would you do it? Well, you can. And it's not through gambling. It's not investing in the stock market. It's by buying this book. That's right, my book. This was voted number 9 out of the top 100 best copywriting books ever written, and I wrote it for you, for business owners, to help you write better emails, better sales copy, better advertisement, to communicate better in all of your marketing and business communications. This book will change your business and your life. Try it. You're going to love it.
You've all heard and you know how powerful it is to send thank you cards, notes of appreciation, and gifts that build and maintain relationships. However, writing and sending generic impersonal greetings and gifts one by one just is so overwhelming and takes so much time. Not to mention, these days, who wants to deal with lines at the post office, running out of stamps, or having to print stamps yourself? And then there's the embarrassment of missing an important date altogether. Yikes. So what can you do? If you go to marketyourbiz.guru, you will be able to get help with your greetings and gifts that are printed, stamped, stuffed, and mailed automatically for you. Make sure that you tell them Gabriella sent you. So what I would like to ask you is, we all have someone or something that we take inspiration from. I know mine that happened in my light switch moment, and you were sharing with me that you had somebody for your version of that moment that you then worked with for quite a while. Will you share with us about who that person is and how it was that they inspired you?
Oh, gratefully, I would share that. Her name was Dawn, and she wasn't out in the public eye. I mean, she was to a certain degree because I found her, but she was very much of a, she was so connected with energy, and she had been doing her own inner research for decades, and then brought together this group of people, about 50 of us, who stayed with her and we were doing our own inner research on how was it, or what was it, to receive these new energy activations, if you will, and how that changed our lives. And for me, that light switch moment was one of the first experiences I had with her, where I really felt, oh boy, I really felt this kind of missing piece in me land and feel so complete, and like self-doubt, which had been a big issue for me. And I was out there, I was very successful. It wasn't like I couldn't be successful, but it was the self-doubt of, I feel like there's more. I feel like there's more for me, but maybe not, because I guess that's not true, because I'm looking around and I don't get that fed back to me. And so the light switch moment was feeling in my own body that moreness. And I literally could not go back from that. I changed everything in my life, but most particularly, I ended my psychotherapy practice.
Wow.
Because I saw what was possible and how change was possible and what could be. And I couldn't continue to do the work I was doing in the way I was doing it before.
That's amazing. That, like, you literally 360'd, and you still work with people and help them. You just take a much different approach in how you do that work. That is amazing.
And it has to do with going for the moreness instead of going for fixing oneself.
I know. That was a big thing for me when I had my light switch. And then more recently, so much of my younger days was this concept that I had to go relive and rehash my things that happened to figure out why they were affecting me. And I'm like, I already know. It's time to like release them and move on. And so
and that's different from just jumping over them. It's different from ignoring them. It's a shift in perspective and vision and possibility, and it's moving into your possibility.
And working with people like yourself to like do that and be able to do the things to get us there, and have that guidance system to get us there is awesome, because once you have that and you realize, holy moly, the world opens up. So I want to ask you our next question, because this is really important and is a really good segue. If you were able to go back to that college student that you were, that was studying psychology, or when we have some of our younger members that are just getting ready to go out and start doing whatever it is, if you could give one piece of advice that would move them that much closer to their success or their moreness, what would that be?
I think it would have to be pay attention to those inner dreams, those nudges, that inner whisper. It's talked about in so many ways, but if you pay attention to that and don't dismiss it as, oh, it couldn't possibly be so, or this isn't really for me, just because nobody in your personal world in this moment will acknowledge that or support that, it's okay. It's like there is a bigger picture, and there is support, and there is support even from your own inside. It has to start with that willingness to listen to what that inner whisper is.
Yeah. And trust yourself.
And trust yourself. Trust it enough to say, I don't know how, but I'm going to pay attention to this.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I wish I had known you when I was 19. So I'm going to open up the floor to you and ask you to share some of your best tips on helping our audience get to success, what it is about you that it makes you the expert that helps other people get to their success. And I just would love to just open it up to you.
Okay. Well, you used the phrase a moment ago about inner guidance. And that's really, really important to me. And that we do have an inner compass. And so in paying attention to those nudges, realize, first of all, that those nudges are also going to steer you. You can think of it as intuition. You can think of it as gut instincts. That's the first level of it. And so you can start, if you're paying attention, if you start to practice with that, you'll start to see that life gives you feedback, and that you can start paying attention to the feedback to hone in on what direction do I need to go in. So the underlying tip to that is pay attention to the messages that you're getting in your body. Like, where do you feel drawn? Where do you feel like you want to pull away? They may not be what I would call the most refined inner guidance, but they're going to be a heck of a start to how you develop that. Yeah. And I've been building out a new inner guidance mastery blueprint program because it's so important to be able to pay attention and to actually have that activated and know how to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many tips that was, but it comes down to that paying attention. And go for more than just your intellect. So what I mean by that is, I see the heart center, like that heart center in our body, as that grand connector with that field of creative intelligence. And it's what quantum physics talks about as that undifferentiated field. And that is the field of creative intelligence. And in order to pay attention to that, we have to go beyond just our thinking process. And that's, you know, I mean, I was a great thinker. I'm a great analyzer. I know a lot about that, but it's how do we go beyond that to, again, to that moreness.
Yeah. Yeah, you and I are so much alike. I too was that great analyzer, every statistics and analytics and
That's why you were so good at being a bookkeeper.
exactly. But I like being out there in front of people and engaging with people and all of that kind of stuff. So that's why I said no more to that. And that was part of the switch for me, for sure. So we're coming to the end of our interview, and I would love for our audience to know how they can reach out to you so that they can get your blueprint. They can learn more about how they too can find that inner guidance.
Great. Well, a couple of different things. I mean, the main way to reach me is on my website, which is the BacaInstitute.com.
Okay.
And I'm on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, certainly on LinkedIn. So there's lots of things that I share on all of those platforms.
So you guys, the links for that will be down below in the show notes, and they'll also be in the description. So make sure that you take a look and click on Laurie's links. Now, Laurie, you also mentioned to me before we started recording that you have a quiz to share with everybody. Will you please tell the audience about the quiz?
I will certainly do that. It is a creative innovator style quiz. And really what that means is that everybody is an innovator. Everybody, especially if you have entrepreneurs listening, because this is your secret sauce. This is how you best create your project, your idea, your business, your vision. It's also what holds you back. In other words, if you're trying to fit into an old mold, and a mold that you adopted from someone else, or because someone told you this is the way to do it, and this quiz will help you start to figure out, oh, that's why I keep getting stuck. That's why this isn't working for me, because I'm really a pioneer and I need this, 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 and this. And so the quiz will help point you in those directions.
So most of our audience are exactly the right people to go take that quiz. So you guys click the link below and go take the quiz and find out more about yourself and how Laurie can help you. Thanks. We'll talk to you again soon. Hey, thanks so much for watching. We hope you got value today. We want to give a huge shout out of gratitude to our contributors. Please make sure you click the subscribe button below, and don't forget to click the bell up above to get reminders when we add new content.